Week 14 of the NFL season is here. My 5 best bets are on the way. Let's recap how we did on Thursday Night Football, a 2-0 day, making this an 18-4 NFL run. We've been on a scorcher over the past 2 weeks. Let's hopefully continue that on Sunday. On Thursday, we had Ezekiel Elliott over in rush attempts. That was free. Deontay Johnson's over in receiving yards. The opposite of free. It required a second to last play of the game, him getting a reception. We will certainly take it. I won't complain about that. We had some bad luck early on in the season, but having some good luck recently. Let's continue this momentum. If you are new, my name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Do us a favor, go down below, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our NFL videos. We have another one popping up on Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, our long shot parlays video. We have 2 parlays in that video. I personally have cashed 2 in a row on Sunday. Knock on wood, let's try to make that 3 in a row. Like I said, that video will be live Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So depending on when you're watching this, it might already be live. I'll link it at the end of this video. And at the end of this video, actually, we'll have a sleeper parlay where I'm trying to turn $25 into $250. Also on Sleeper, right now, if you are a new user, they will match your first deposit up to $500. They will match your first deposit. That is ridiculous. Take advantage of it, Sleeper. Make sure you use our code COS or the link in the description so you get that $500 deposit match up to that. Also, they have a free square live right now for Jalen Hurts to get 1 yard on Sunday. Jalen Hurts is certainly going to get that done in that Eagles and Cowboys game. More on Sleeper down below and more on them a little bit later on in this video. But you guys game for winners? Hopefully I got 5 of them. Let's make this a 23-4 run. Let's start with this first one, going to the big game, the Eagles and Cowboys. I'm talking about DeAndre Swift, over 49.5 rushing yards, minus 110 on Bet365. Now, love the Eagles or hate them, I think this is a game they get back to going on the ground. And in a big divisional game against the Cowboys, obviously this is huge for the final standings of this division. I think they get back to doing what they do best, and that is running the football. Last week, Eagles not even competitive against the 49ers. They got smoked. Jalen Hurts threw it 45 times. He ended up getting benched for Mariota. Swift had 6 carries for 13 yards. A terrible game. On the road in Dallas, I think they need to establish the run here. And I think that's what they're going to try to do early in this game. Get the ground game going, take the crowd out of it, and really run the football, because their offensive line is arguably, one of the best in the NFL, and that's honestly their strength of offense. They don't want to see Swift or Hurts throwing it 45 times. That's not the recipe for success. We've seen in the last 11 games, Swift has been playing very well. He's averaged 70.9 rushing yards per game on 15 carries. You've seen him have 10-plus rush attempts in every single game prior to that last week, and he had 50-plus rushing yards in 8 of the last 11. Last week, obviously an anomaly. Every team's going to have some bad weeks, and last week was that bad week, but I expect the Eagles to show up a little bit better, especially against their division rivals. And while Dallas is not the easiest matchup to run against, they're not like, I'm trying to think of a bad team off the top of my head that you could, like the Colts have been really bad running the football against them. You just see other teams that really stink at stopping the run. Dallas is not that. They're a good rushing defense. However, they're not nearly as good as the 49ers, and I don't think it matters in this one. I think they lean on Swift, and we see him get close to 15 to 20 rush attempts. That's kind of the Eagles' pathway to victory here. We saw in their first matchup, they gave the ball to Swift a ton. Didn't yield a ton of success, 18 rush attempts for 43 rushing yards, but it did result in an Eagles victory, and I think they want to lean on the ground a little bit more. We've seen this season, 13 running backs have at least 10 carries against the Cowboys. 9 of those 13 all had 50-plus rushing yards, including 5 straight guys with 10 or more rush attempts have hit this over against the Cowboys. Obviously a big divisional game, but I really don't think the Eagles want to have Jalen Hurts throwing it 40 times. That's just not how they want to play their brand of football. I think they get back to running the football here. If we get even close to 15 rush attempts, I'm confident Swift can average more than 3 yards a carry. Sure, he stunk up the joint last time versus the Cowboys, but I really do think their offensive line will be up for the task in this one, kind of manhandle that Cowboys D-line. That is the strength of this team. I really like him. I think he has a big night. We haven't seen Swift go under in back-to-back games this season. That's not starting this week. Give me Swift over 49.5 rushing yards. Now, my second play is going to a guy that is on my thumbnail right now, and he is in return from a very long absence. It's Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, over 66.5 receiving yards, minus 115 on BetMGM. This is going to be a popular play. But Jefferson is returning back from his long-awaited return because he has been out since week 5. And I'm excited because I'm going to see him in person, and he's going to cash this bet for me in person. Knock on wood. He's going to treat me nicely, and I'm going to be in stands cheering him on, although not too loudly because the Raiders fans, I don't want them to get mad at me. But I really do think this is a great matchup for Jefferson in his return against the Raiders secondary that I don't think has a match for him. Has a matchup for him that really can stop him. They're only stopping him is double teaming him, and I don't think they're going to do that. So look at Dobbs starting back again at QB. He stunk the week before their bye. 4 interceptions, stunk up the joint against the Bears. Probably could have thrown like 8 interceptions in that game. But coming into this game, they've had more weeks to practice. Jefferson's been in practice for the last few weeks. Probably could have returned a couple weeks ago, but they wanted to keep him fully healthy. And we've seen Jefferson dominate this year. Prior to getting injured, Jefferson 150, 159, 149, 85, and 28 receiving yards, going over this in obviously most of those games. You look at his receptions line, juiced at 5.5. So they really do expect him to get at least 6 receptions. And I think that's enough to get it done against this Raiders secondary. And sure, Kirk Cousins is out. Now it's Josh Dobbs. Obviously, big downgrade there. But I still do think if you had Kirk Cousins in here, the line's at like 99.5. That's how talented they were as a combination. But I really do think Josh Dobbs is not an idiot. You can throw it to Justin Jefferson. It's not that complicated. Get the ball in his hands. They're going to scheme ways to get him open, too. It's not like you really double team him and take him completely away. I think Justin Jefferson can have a massive day this season. 8 wide receivers have 5 or more receptions against Vegas. And you've seen 6 of those guys at 85 or more receiving yards. One of those guys ended with 66, other with 54. Look, end of the day, I think Justin Jefferson gets 5, 6, maybe even more than that receptions. I'm willing to back on the talent of Justin Jefferson. Josh Dobbs, not the best, but on the road, I think they lean on Justin Jefferson, their best wideout. Even if he doesn't play 100% of snaps, he's going to be out there for nearly every single pass play. Justin Jefferson, we roll with you, man. We're glad to see you back on the field. Go do your job. The third play is going to be a guy that's made us some good amount of money over the past few weeks. Then this season, it's Jahmyr Gibbs. I like his over 25.5 receiving yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. Now, most books are sitting at 29.5. I personally would play this to about 30.5. I really like Gibbs, though, on Sunday. I think he's in for a great spot against the Chicago Bears defense, who we've taken as a system play. The system, running backs over in receiving yards versus the Bears. Boom, there's your system. End of analysis. You'll understand why in a second, but look at the last 6 weeks. Gibbs has been pretty good. I mean, you look at him, I'm not going to read off every single one of these. He hit the over in 4 straight. Well, 2 duds back-to-back against the Packers and the Saints. 2 defenses that are really good at limiting opposing running backs from getting those receiving yards. Now he gets a matchup against a very good Bears defense. And wouldn't you know, one of these last 6 games was against the Bears. Which one do you think it is? The 59. The most receiving yards he's had this season was against the Chicago Bears. And why is that? Well, the Bears play a lot of cover 2 defense. And that funnels targets, receptions, yards to your running backs. And this season, the Bears will have the 3rd most receptions and the most receiving yards to running backs. They've allowed 120 more receiving yards to running backs than any other team. That is a ridiculous number, and this team just continues to struggle defending running backs, and I don't necessarily think they're struggling. That's kind of what they're willing to give up, and I think that's perfect for a guy like Gibbs, who is obviously a very talented pass catcher that the Lions are trying to get the ball in his hands. And this season, 11 running backs have 3 or more receptions against the Bears. 9 of the 11 hit this over, 25-plus receiving yards. Gibbs' reception line sitting at 3.5. Very juiced on the over, about minus 130. I think this is a great spot to back Gibbs once again. He's been really good. We took this over the last time these 2 teams matched up. Now they're on the road in Chicago, very windy city, they call it. I wouldn't be surprised if Goff is maybe a little bit more conservative, not trying to throw the ball deep down the field. Instead, taking your dump offs to guys like Gibbs, letting them get the yards after the catch. And I really like Jahmyr Gibbs. He'll be in on those 2-minute drills. I think he has a massive Sunday. Give me his over 25.5 receiving yards. Now, my 4th play is going to be a guy that I honestly don't think is very good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't think this guy is good, but he's in a great matchup, and sometimes matchup trumps whether you're good or not, and that is Desmond Ridder of the Atlanta Falcons, over 190.5 passing yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. Now, I'd play this about 197.5. I almost took his 200 yards for plus value. Ridder, obviously, he's not the best QB in the world, far from it. But I think this is too good of a matchup to avoid him. And Ridder returned to starting at QB for the Falcons 2 games ago. Falcons are 2-0. Hasn't been largely due to Ridder, 168 and 121 passing yards, but I'm not too worried about that. The 168 came in a game where they had a pick 6, and look, they ran that ball 150 times in that game. 121 was last week against the Jets. That game was disgusting. Sure, I can look past those because this is a great matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back at home where Ridder has played a lot better. Now, in the first 7 games of the season, Ridder, heck, he was crushing this line. He had hit this line in 6 of the first 7 games of the season, including 250 against the Buccaneers. He went crazy against that game against the Bucs in a game they won. Now, why do guys tend to do well against the Bucs? Well, it's because they have a really good rushing defense that leads to a lot of passing attempts and a lot of passing yards. This season, the Bucs top 10 in rushing yards allowed and rushing per attempt and yards allowed in general. So this is a team really good at stopping the run. They got Vita Vea down there to just stop the run. And in turn, Buccaneers allow the 5th most passing yards per game. And I don't think it's getting any better. One of their best cornerbacks, Jamel Dean, he's out. Devin White also out. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see them miss some tackles, which Devin White, a very good tackler. Also, they probably are going to get tested on the perimeter because when you see backup corners come in, you're normally going to throw out those guys. And so I think that this Falcons team, while they are very run heavy, no doubting that, they're going to run it with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Cordell Patterson. Those guys will get carries. I think they're still going to lean on the pass, which is what teams do against the Buccaneers. 12 QBs faced the Bucs this season. 10 of 12 hit the over. A lot of those guys weren't even close to this line, and 8 of those 12 had 250 passing yards. You see what I mean? A lot of guys just soaring over the line. I really think that we see Ridder have another good game. Completed 76% of his passes last time he faced this team. Very high, but I still do think that Desmond Ridder in for one of the best matchups for a QB that you can ask for. Back at home, no weather concerns. I think they lean on the pass a little bit more here. Would love to see the Buccaneers get up early in this game. Not necessarily guaranteed. We've seen Ridder already hit this over in a game against the Bucs where they were leading in that game. I think this is a great spot to back Desmond Ridder. Not the best guy in the world, but I really do like his over 190.5 passing yards. Now, my fifth and final play of the day before we talk about a sleeper entry will be a play we've already done several times this season, twice to be exact, and actually is a play that does not have odds right now. It's Dave Montgomery, 50 plus rushing yards, and Jahmyr Gibbs, 25 plus rushing yards, a 2-leg same game parlay. I don't have odds right now. I'm recording this on Friday, and like I said, I put in the slide on the screen. I say see pin comment. I'll probably have the updated odds whenever it is live. Normally, we have alternate rushing lines, but we do not have them on FanDuel, which is normally the book we take this. Now, this is minus 135 on Bet365. I just think we get better value on FanDuel, which is why I'm holding off on it. So check the pin comment, see what I'm playing this for. I really like this 2-leg same game parlay for 1 unit. I'm not going to keep it, keep a lot of your time. This is a pretty simple one. We played this the last 2 weeks. It's cashed. I'm playing it once again. Montgomery, 50 rushing yards and 8 of 9 is only missed due to injury. And he had 76 versus the Bears earlier this year in a game they trailed in. They didn't run it a ton. Then Gibbs, 25 rushing yards in 9 of 10 this season, including 8 straight and 36 for Chicago. Obviously, Chicago, a very good defense at stopping the run. The Lions also will be down one of their center, Frank Ragnow. He'll be out, but I still do think the Lions team still has enough success to run the football against the Bears. I don't trust the Bears offense a ton, and I really think even in a losing game script, which happened last time these two teams played, they still got the job done on the road. I expect them to lean on these two guys. So David Montgomery, 50 plus, Jahmyr Gibbs, 25 plus rushing yards. Stay tuned for the pin comment. I'll update with the odds. Just play 1 unit on it because it's not the best matchup. Normally, I've been playing it for 1.5. I'll stick to just 1 unit for this one. I think that's the easier way to do it. And then finally, our sleeper entry. Like a reminder, they have the Jalen Hurts free square. Sign up, and make sure if you use our code COS, you'll get that free square. You'll also get a 100% deposit match up to $500. Take advantage of it. The 4 plays on the screen I've already talked about, trying to turn $25 into $243. We got Ridder, Jefferson, Gibbs, and Swift in there. Gibbs for receiving yards, not rushing yards. Although rushing yards, I don't hate either. Those are my favorite plays of the day. 5 picks, 5 winners. Let's bring out those brooms. I'll have a video for Monday Night Football, which we have 2 games on Monday night randomly. I don't know why, but we'll take it. And either way, let me know your favorite picks down below. Let's have a wonderful day. Let's try to turn this 18-4 run into a 23-4 run. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Sunday of NFL action. And if you're at the Vegas Raiders game, and you see me, say hello, because I will be there in attendance cheering on Justin Jefferson, but cheering on hopefully for a good and high-scoring game. You guys have a great weekend. I will see you guys back in the next one. It's Austin. I'm signing out. Also, when our NFL Parlays video is live, I will link it on the screen, trying to go for 3 straight parlays in a row. It's Austin. I'm signing out. Peace.